It's the Flavors of Pure Michigan week right here on Travel Michigan. I'm Dave Lorenz along with Michelle Banache. And Michelle, it's been fun talking about these great events that have to do with food and these places that have to do with food because, as you and I know, food is a big subject for us.
It is. It's a very popular subject for us. And I am excited because we are going to be talking here with Dan Carmody, who is with Detroit Eastern Market. And the Eastern Market has to be one of my favorite places to go every time I go to Detroit.
Agree.
So, Dan, welcome to the show. And let's start, because the history of Eastern Market is so incredible, let's just get people caught up to speed on how it got to be where it is today.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. It's great to be on the show with you. Eastern Market goes back to 1891. We're called Eastern Market because there used to be a Central and a Western and a chain ferry market in the city of Detroit. There used to be a Bureau of Public Markets. Eastern Market's been the survivor. It's for people who haven't been here, it's scale kind of takes people aback a little bit. We're in 5 buildings over 166,000 square feet, and Saturdays, which we operate a year-round retail market, attract as many as 30 to 40,000 people during the warm weather Saturdays. It's like no other neighborhood in North America. It's really a distinctive place. In addition to the market, which operates both wholesale and retail markets, there's also 80 food-related businesses that are located around the market. So it's really not just the market, it's the whole neighborhood that has this great sense of authenticity, this great urban character that people find compelling, and we get a lot of repeat business. People come back with their kids and grandkids, and generally leave feeling a little bit better for having come.
And with wagons,
good food and conviviality.
Wagons, people go with wagons, and then they take wagon loads of the stuff they've bought back to their car, and you think they're leaving, and you're going to get their parking spot, and then they go back with their wagon again. It is incredible how many different products, I will say products, not stuff, you have there. So talk a little bit about that diversity.
Yeah, well, the spring season is really one of our biggest seasons. We're a huge source of plants and flowers for Michigan homeowners and gardeners. And so we have our peak season actually is Mother's Day to Father's Day, and then it stays pretty strong all the way to Halloween and Thanksgiving. But in the flower season especially, because you're carrying around a lot of big items, people have improvised over the decades, and there's some pretty elaborate engineered wagons that allow people to carry multiple levels and multiple quantities of products. It's testimony to the amount of engineers in Michigan to see some of these wagons at the market in the spring.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Every year, Flower Day, our busiest week of the year, which is usually the week after Mother's Day. Next year it's May 18th. We have a annual wagon design competition, and it's just incredible to see what people are able to come up with.
Well, that's a neat
both,
idea.
Efficient and whimsical. A lot of humor and engineering put into this.
Well, for people who've never been to the Detroit Eastern Market, I guess I would say it's kind of like a farmer's market, just huge and so diverse and so very interesting. And because some of those buildings have to be from the late 1800s, it's also a really beautiful place in a environment like that. I just think it's very unique and cool. But you're kind of going through constant changes. You have a lot of new things there right now.
The thing about Eastern Market is it's kind of a relic of one age, and it's the first of a kind of the next age. And so we're an old school kind of local food district that kind of every city that was principally built before 1950 had, and most of them withered away for 2 reasons. One is modern grocery store national chains had their own delivery systems. They didn't need places like Eastern Market. And then secondly, the real estate became more available for bars and boutiques and lofts. So a lot of the meatpacking district in New York disappeared because the real estate was repurposed. So we never had that kind of surge during the 70s or 80s or 90s in Detroit, so we still have this kind of working old school local food district. At the same time, in the last 10 years, there's been this emergence of a much greater interest in where food comes and local food movement and regional food movement. And so all of a sudden, as cities around the country are waking up trying to figure out how to recreate these local food districts, we start from a higher point because we have this sort of older investment that can be repurposed to be a food hub to try to connect and strengthen regional food systems, which is moving market share from some of the national food chain, national distribution to more local and regional distribution. So much of our work, in addition to running the market, is around two things. One is trying to address food access issues and trying to get good food into those neighborhoods that are not well served by national chain grocers, which affect a lot of Detroit. And then on the other hand, trying to grow a host of food companies, whether it's producers, new emerging farmers, or people making specialty food products. So in the last 5 or 6 years, we started from 0 people making prepared food products at the market, because before we took over management in 2006, there was only the sale of fresh fruits and vegetables, plants, and flowers. And these days we have 125 food businesses selling everything from pierogies to pasta to jams, jellies, ice creams, all sorts of locally made products that create jobs. And so when you think about how the impact of regional food systems, I think in Michigan we have a great metaphor, and that's what's happened in the world of wine, the world of spirits, and the world of beer, where, and particularly in the world of beer, we're now about nationally at about 10% are craft beers, and it's the only growing part of the beer economy. And so as people kind of get more and more interested in local food, there's an opportunity to create a lot of jobs around specialty food products.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Well, you know, the cool thing about Eastern Market, you can go there, you can do all your shopping, see all these neat things, this cool environment, and then you can go to a nearby restaurant nearby that evening and have a really high quality, different meal as well.
Yeah, we've got a nice inventory of restaurants, and it's getting stronger as time goes by. We have one expanded Sapino's Pizzas ready to expand. And we have 3 new restaurants poised to open in the next 6 months. So we're going to be able to really diversify our offerings. Some of the other new businesses, not necessarily food-related, but are very much in the spirit of authenticity and made locally. And that's a couple of print shops, one called Salt and Cedar in particular is a fascinating place. They have a couple of different printing options. They also have classes where they provide a gourmet dinner, and it's called Book and Bowl. And the food is usually served in some kind of iconic bowl kind of form from a piece of Detroit's history. Could be a foundation building block at Fort Wayne. Could be something related to the labor movement. And great meal. And then you follow it up by learning how to hand-bound a book, and you get to take your journal with you when you go. So,
well, that's different. That's an interesting pairing of activities.
Yeah, and it's kind of this authenticity, this kind of urban grittiness that surrounds Eastern Market kind of attracts that creative, cutting-edge kind of thinker. So a lot of art galleries, Red Bull Gallery. The Red Bull Company goes around the world building art galleries, both performing and visual. And they selected Eastern Market for its 3rd visual arts gallery in the world, after one in Lisbon and one in Sao Paulo. So they have an opening 3 or 4 times a year where local artists show off what they've been working on at the studio space in the Red Bull facility. And it usually attracts 4,000 to 5,000 people on a given Friday night.
Well, it is a special place, and of course this time of the year would be a great time to visit Detroit's Eastern Market. And as Dan mentioned, you know, it's just kind of an interesting relic from the past, but certainly a very interesting place to visit that's showcasing all of the current trends in food and all as well right now. So check out Detroit's Eastern Market soon. We'd like to thank Dan Carmody for joining us today and invite you to go to DetroitEasternMarket.com for more information. Speaking of information, Michelle has some on events around the state.
I am full of information today. First, we have the Great Lakes Lighthouse Festival up in Alpena, and that's happening October 10th through the 13th, and you can have the opportunity to tour 11 lighthouses in a whole new way. So lighthouse lovers out there, definitely check that out. We have the Flint Film Festival October 11th through 12th. That's going to include a celebration of independent filmmakers, writers. This is the 10th year of the Flint Film Festival, so if you haven't been before, check that out. And for some reason, we really enjoy outhouse races in Michigan. There's several of them that happen throughout the year. The next one is happening October 11th through the 13th in South Haven. It's Fall Fest and outhouse races, which will also have a farm market with biggest pumpkin contests and pumpkin carving contests and all sorts of other activities. Hartwick Pine State Park hosts Critters in the Moonlight October 12th. This is a non-scary educational event, so great thing to take the kids to. That's up by Grayling. And you've got the Fall Color Tour train excursion from Mountain Town Station in Mount Pleasant. No better way to experience fall colors in Michigan than by a train.
It's fun.
So these events, many more that I didn't even get a chance to get to, are happening across the state. So go to Michigan.org, get more information, plan your trip. Have a great time.
That's a good idea. And, so that outhouse race, is that a race to the outhouse?
Or from.
Who knows? I'd win that race, I got to tell you right now. So, we are going to continue the flavors of Pure Michigan next. Find out what's happening at New Holland Brewery over in Holland next, right here on Travel Michigan, where your trip begins at Michigan.org.